Yo, yo, yo. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Happy Friday, everyone. Stoked to be back for another live stream. My name is Justin Moore, founder of Creator Wizard. If it's your first time here, thank you so much for joining me. Today, we're going to be talking about something very fun, which is negotiating with confidence, y'all. Drop it in the chat where you're tuning in from. Let me know, do you have issues when negotiating with brands with just feeling confident, knowing your worth, knowing what to charge, knowing what to offer the brand? I am live streaming on a zillion different platforms right now. I am on TikTok. I am on Instagram. I'm on my private Facebook group. I am on YouTube. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Twitch. I'm on, did I say LinkedIn? I don't know if I said LinkedIn, but I'm a lot of different places. Let me pull up the IG chat here because, again, I'm in a million different places. We got Bryce tuning in as well. Sasha Aubrey, thanks for tuning in. Yeah, stoked to chat with y'all today. And who we got here? We got Marcus all the way tuning in from Switzerland. What's up, Marcus? We got Saba's Corner. Hey, Saba. And we've got Mom of Two in the TikTok chat. Okay, so let's dive right into this thing. So I have a few things I want to talk about. But if you have any questions for me today, drop it in the chat because I'm going to be circling back to those in a little bit. But I did want to start off with a little story of something that happened to me recently, which was that I got a message a little while ago from a creator who told me that they regularly get emails from brands and agencies wanting to collaborate with them, but they delete the emails every time because they're so terrified. And they just don't have any confidence that they'll be able to communicate with the brand properly. They think that the brand is out to get them. They have no idea how much to charge. And so they just delete the emails, which absolutely blew my mind. But it makes sense, right? If you've never done something before, the whole process can feel intimidating. And so I wanted to give 7 tips to help you feel more confident in your negotiations with brands. Okay. So, tip number 1 about feeling more confident when you negotiate with brands is to make sure that this sponsorship offer is not a scam. And there are 5 simple ways to find out. Number 1, misspellings and grammar. Number 2, the email doesn't contain the name of the person emailing you. Number 3, the email domain does not match the person claiming to be from the brand. Number 4, confusing contact information. And number 5 is that something just doesn't seem right. So I actually have a whole video where I deconstruct real scam emails, but it's especially tough for up-and-coming creators, I've found, because these scams often get creators' hopes up, right? And can kind of sour the whole idea of working with brands. But if you can develop a good scamdar early on, you'll save yourself a lot of heartache. So that's tip number 1, is really understanding about scams, educating yourself. Watch my YouTube video because it's very helpful. I actually go over real sponsorship scam emails. Kind of deconstruct why I know that they're a scam. And will be very helpful for you for sure. No Fury, thanks for tuning in. She said, hey, I wanted to say thank you for those brand deals in your recent newsletter. You're a gem. Appreciate that so much. If you're not a part of my newsletter, I send out paid sponsorship opportunities every single week for free. All you need to do is go to creatorwizard.com/join. We got Kevin from Join the Machine tuning in, Thanks, Kevin. What's up, man? Hello, happy mom. And Dominic in the TikTok chat said, I work at an agency and I love your content. It's so helpful so these creators can navigate early on. I appreciate that, man. That means a lot. We got D, we got Ashley in the chat. D says, this live is going to be fire. Confidence is the best suit to wear during negotiations for sure. Yes, D, you are like one of the best creators I've ever met at embodying confidence in your negotiation with brands, regardless of where you're at, how many followers you have. So stoked to see you tuning in, D. Okay, so tip number 2, when it comes to negotiating with brands with confidence, is that once you determine it's a legitimate opportunity, you need to respond quickly. Even if it's something as simple as so excited to hear from you, right? Just let the brand or the agency know that you're alive, right? You're interested and you're available. And the longer that you stress, the longer you deliberate, the easier it is for brands to eliminate you from contention. I've been doing this a long time, and believe me, brands and agencies will always hire a responsive, engaged creator with 10K followers over an apathetic one with 20,000. Okay. So, that's one of the secret sauces, I think, of how my wife and I have had so much success over the years, is because, our influence, our viewership is waning. It's been waning for a long time. Probably the height of our viewership, the height of our influence was 7 years ago, maybe, right? But one of the reasons that we have been making more money every single year for the last 7 years than the year prior, is because we're reliable. When we say that we're going to turn something in on time, we do it. Brands don't have to send us back revisions because we get it right the first time. And so nothing says, hey, I'm confident when you're negotiating with a brand, like being on it, responding quickly. When the brand asks questions, you answer every single one. You don't miss anything out. You don't leave anything out. Right? So I don't like the phrase fake it till you make it, because I think that implies that you actually don't have expertise or you don't know what you're doing. But I guess what I'm trying to articulate and illustrate is that oftentimes the impression of confidence comes from just going through the motions. Right. And so even if you may not feel confident when you're typing out this email to the brand, or you're on a phone call with them or on a Zoom call with them or something, being responsive, being poised, doing your research, that will all give the impression of confidence. And then in turn, you'll be confident. Right. So a lot of times we have this, this is where imposter syndrome comes from, I believe, is that you don't feel confident, but outwardly, when you put the work in, you put the repetitions in to do the research, to educate yourself, to invest in your knowledge through courses and watching YouTube videos and being on this live stream right now, right? To invest in improving yourself. By virtue of doing that, you will become more confident, even if you don't feel like it inside. Okay. Mike Duffy in the chat said, Justin is awesome. Thank you, man. I appreciate you so much. Durog Dev the Goat, your videos are gold. Thank you so much for this page. I appreciate that, man. Hello, Happy Mom said, your newsletter is awesome. Thank you. We got Dana, Patroy, Bridget in the chat. We got Mrs. Mommy Esquire. What's going on, Lashana? Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you very much. And Marcus says, I'm listening to this stream while on the way to tonight's comedy show. Wouldn't miss it. Oh my gosh. Marcus, I'm going to one day have to come to Switzerland and come to your comedy club. I'm so stoked to do that one day. I've always wanted to go. Let me know, Marcus, what is the name of the town? I've always seen it in Instagram reels or on the internet, where it's there's this hotel or this cafe where you can sit and sip coffee or hot chocolate or something overlooking. It's not the Matterhorn. It's and I don't think it's the Swiss Alps. I think it's just some very particular mountain range, but you probably have no idea what I'm talking about. But I need to go there one day because I've always wanted to. Okay. So tip number 3 for negotiating with brands with confidence, okay, is you need to ask the brand to share more information about the opportunity. And don't send them your media kit with pricing. The brand didn't ask for that. Why are you sending them that? Better yet, ask them, what would success look like for this campaign? Even if you don't feel smart, you're going to look smart. Right? And you're going to instantly differentiate yourself from every other creator. Right? Because when they contact all those other creators, they're not asking those questions. And so when you do that, you instantly seem like you care. Brands like creators who care. They like creators who seem like they're going to be really easy to work with. And I've worked with a lot of influencers in my day, and some of them are just not very nice. So just be nice, right? Be polite, be timely, and keep the conversation going. Okay? Marcus says, I'm in Basel in the Northwest, far from the Alps. Okay. All right. So you have no idea what I'm talking about. So Concise Tech, DIY Gene, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. April Athena 7, my boo, says, yeah, some think they're gonna keep this thing going forever. Yeah. We got some thanks, boo. Thanks for tuning in. Okay. Moving right along here. And if you have any questions for me, please drop it in the chat. I'm definitely going to circle back to that. Okay. So tip number 4 about negotiating confidently with brands is you have to ask them their budget, which seems nuts, right? Like, why would the brand possibly tell me how much money they're willing to pay me? Well, because sometimes they don't have the time to do this cheeky back and forth. No, you say the first number. No, you. Right? No, this campaign is launching in 10 days. We can pay you $2,000. Can you do this? So then you say, well, gee, thank you very much. Right? Knowing in your head you're going to charge like $50. Right? I think I can make this work. Right? But what about when they say, well, we don't have a budget, or we don't have that finalized right now, or we'd just like to see your numbers. Well, that's actually exactly why I created my program, Brand Deal Wizard. Okay. So if you want to go deeper into pricing psychology and advanced negotiation strategies, just go to branddealwizard.com, sign up for the wait list. The next cohort starts in June. So you're going to want to get in that. We had 42 creators in the last cohort, and I have a lot of confidence that it's going to be a lot more than this this next time, because the wait list is ever growing. So definitely consider that. Tip number 5 about negotiating can't talk today. Tip number 5 about negotiating confidently with brands is that you just have to propose something. Sometimes brands will come to you and ask you how you would bring a partnership to life. And this is where a lot of creators get stuck. They're thinking, but what if I propose something that the brand hates? And then I totally ruin my chances of getting this deal. Well, that is always a risk that you're going to run. But the more important thing is to just propose something that you're confident that you can deliver well. Because honestly, whatever you propose, they're probably going to suggest changes to it anyway. Right? So the last thing that you want to do is throw it back to them and say, oh, well, I don't really know. What do you think? Now you've just given the brand more work. And they're thinking in their heads, like, seriously? This creator can't even come up with a simple proposal? Let me just move on to the next person. Remember, they reached out to you. And there's a reason that they did that, because they like what they saw. Right? So you got to just have a little confidence and shoot your shot. Okay? I'm going to take a swig here. Purple Teletubby said, I've got favorite brands that I enjoy using regardless of pay. Would rather have the product. Is that okay? Well, you know what? It's totally up to you. One of the biggest differences here, and I'm glad you're mentioning this, because this is something that a lot of creators ask, which is that, is it okay to accept free products? Well, first of all, if you're going to buy the product anyway, what's the harm? As long as they're not sending you a brief talking point saying, hey, you got to hit these 5 things. You got to do a call to action. Use my promo code Purple Teletubby 20. Sorry, X Purple Teletubby 20. Right? As long as they're not mandating that you have all these requirements, that you do all these requirements in exchange for the free product, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. The other advantage of doing this, especially in the beginning, is that you start getting some repetitions under your belt, so that when your dream partner does reach out to you and is offering compensation, you don't screw it up. So I might be a little outspoken about this, because I don't think there's anything wrong with getting free products. Again, there's a big difference between, them just saying, hey, here you go, we'd love you to have it, no strings attached, and them saying, here's a brief, sign this contract just for the free product. So no, I don't really think there's anything wrong with that, especially in the beginning, right? Okay, so tip number 7. Oh, I'm like screwing up here. We're not on 7 yet. We're on 6. Sorry, my wife and I did 2 sponsored live streams yesterday with Windex. And so we are a little my brain is a little fried right now because I think we finished our last stream at like 8 p.m. last night. So a little fried, but hey, I'm here, right? I show up every single week and I lay it all on the line for y'all, right? So have some grace. I appreciate it. Okay, so tip number 6 about negotiating confidently with brands is that you need to follow up with the brand even if it feels like you're being ghosted. This is one of the most difficult things to do because it's so much easier to just look inward when we don't get a response. Why don't they like me? What was it about my pitch that sucks so much? Should I have signed, off my email sincerely instead of best regards? Look, there are a zillion reasons why the brand is probably ghosting you, but the least likely is because you suck. So just remove your ego and hit him again next week. Okay? I actually have a whole video on my YouTube channel called Why Brands Ghost Creators, 10 Reasons. So I have 10 reasons literally that brands ghost creators. And so part of having confidence when you're negotiating with brands is leaning into that silence. That's so difficult, leaning into the silence. Oftentimes, I'll give you a little teaser of some of the things I talk about in that video, is that they're doing research. Maybe they've never paid creators before. Maybe they've never paid creators the amount that you're asking for. And they're trying to figure out like, wow, well, this thing that Justin is proposing is actually pretty compelling, pretty cool. We've never paid creators like that. We've only ever given them free products and they were cool with that. But what Justin is proposing is actually pretty dope. So let us go scrounge around and figure out, well, is this reasonable? Can we find money from other budgets to actually allocate to Justin? Right. And so them not responding is not, you suck. It's, hey, let me figure out a way to pay him. What a lot of creators do is they follow up and be like, oh, haven't heard from you. I can actually do this for half of what I was proposing. I just really want to make this work. I get it, right? Like come on, you guys know me. This is my personality. I'm being a little facetious. But part of the reason that you're doing that is because you don't have the confidence to lean into the silence. I can't tell you how many times we have just said to a brand, hey, it's going to be $30K for this. Didn't hear from them for 3 weeks. And then the agency circles back and says, okay, sounds good. We've got the green light. Because oftentimes what's happening behind the scenes, just to give you a little perspective here, I've run an influencer marketing agency for many years. And what's oftentimes happening is that the brand has basically, for agencies, the brand has basically said, hey, you have a budget. Agency, you've got a budget of $200K. And we want to work with 50 influencers. Go make it happen. And so the agency is over here playing Tetris with the budget. So yeah, they're reaching out to you, but they're also reaching out to 100 other creators to try to see who they can lock in, because every creator charges differently, right? There could be 2 creators with the exact same following, 100K, 100K. This person charges 10K. This person charges 5K. Like it's totally, everyone has different, there's no standardization in this industry, which makes it a little bit difficult. So what they're doing on the back end is like, okay, let's work with this creator, and then we can work with this creator over here on TikTok and this one on YouTube and this one on Instagram and, these budgets. And they've got this kind of running total of all the ways in which they're allocating the money. And so them not responding to you is not they hate you. It's that, hey, just give us some time. There's a lot of moving pieces here and we can't nail you down yet. We can't lock you in yet. Relia in the chat says, hey, Justin, what's up? I'm not going to lie. Waiting 2 weeks can be tough. I hear it. The other reason that it's tough is because if you look at a lot of different studies that have shown that the vast majority of creators, something like 60 to 70%, I've seen even studies up to 77% of creators say that sponsorships is their largest income source for their business, regardless of what platform you're on. So that's the reason that some of this stuff can get so anxiety inducing. The reason it can get so uncomfortable is because sponsorships is one of the major ways in which we pay our bills, right? And so not hearing back from a brand, it may be immaterial to an agency, 3 weeks, but to you, it's like, oh, like, come on now, right? And so that's one of the reasons I'm always going to do this. I got to do this, guys. That's one of the reasons why I created my course, Brand Deal Wizard, because the whole point of it is to create a robust, predictable income stream from sponsorships. It's not enough to just sit on your hands and wait for the next deal to come into you. That is not a predictable business strategy, because as a creator, you are a business. So that's the whole point of the course, is to have a structured strategy so that you can know with near certainty what your income is going to be 4 months from now. How many of you, raise your hand, drop it in the chat. How many of you feel confident that you know what your income is going to be from sponsorships in 6 months, 4 months, something like that? My wife and I do, because we set up a system where it's predictable, because we were having conversations with brands at every stage of the negotiation process. Some in the pitching stage, some in the negotiation phase, some in the contracting phase, some in the execution phase, and then a bunch in the nurturing phase, where we're following up with brands that we worked with in the past. There's a lot to go into with this particular subject. I have a live stream actually that I did all around this subject, which I call a sponsorships pipeline. So if that's something that's interesting to you, go back and check out that live stream, because there's a lot of gems in that one. But just wanted to mention this here because I think this is a really important concept. Okay, let's round it out before we get into Q&A. Let's round it out with the seventh tip. So tip number 7 about negotiating confidently with brands is you have to be able to walk away. I get it. It's exciting to get sponsorship opportunities in the beginning, right? And it's kind of a flex too, right? Like, I've been building this platform, pumping out all this content, and now I finally feel vindicated. Boom. Right? But you cannot let that unbridled enthusiasm cloud your judgment. If it seems like a bad deal, it's probably a bad deal. It's much better to say, upon further consideration, it's not a good fit for me at this time, than to piss off your followers by recommending a crappy product. Right? So I go over this subject, or this concept in my course called your BATNA. I didn't create this. This is a concept that was invented by a Harvard negotiations professor. And BATNA stands for your best alternative to a negotiated agreement. And it's a very important concept, not just in sponsorship negotiations, but in any type of negotiations, business partnerships, whatever, salary negotiations with your employer, whatever, that you are beholden to your other options is basically the concept, right? And so if you have no other alternatives and you are like have to pay your bills with this particular deal, of course you're going to come down on your number. Do you think that's a good thing? No, that's not a good thing. That's why, as much as, I am the sponsorship coach, that's what I talk about. Like, that's all I talk about, right? But part of being able to negotiate with confidence is having a diversified creator business. Right? You need to have other income streams, affiliate revenue. Maybe you're selling something directly to your followers. AdSense revenue if you're a YouTuber, other revenue streams, so that you're not beholden to this deal that's bad, that you're trying to decide, well, do I come down on my rate? They're asking for a bunch more things than they actually should be doing for this rate. Or having a bunch of other sponsorship opportunities that you can rely on, so you don't have to take this one. It's all intertwined when you're a creator, right? Anyways, so these are my 7 tips about negotiating with confidence. I wanted to get the juices flowing today early, because without a doubt, fear, confidence, imposter syndrome, these are all things, by the way, that I did not realize how pervasive they were for most creators. And part of this is just, I can't remember the name of it. There's this like concept about how it's hard to unlearn stuff, right? In your space, in your zone of genius, in your expertise, right? Like, my wife and I have made pretty much every mistake in the book when it comes to sponsorships. doing deals without contracts, without signing contracts, doing stuff for free product, giving perpetual usage rights to brands. We literally have made every mistake in the book over the last decade of being creators. And so we've learned all of this. And so it really was an education for me to basically transport myself back in time to when we were first starting out, and understand that mindset of like I have without a shroud of a doubt, without an iota of like I can say with my chest puffed out, like, my wife and I are so good at what we do. When we work with brands, whether it's a live streaming sponsorship or a typical sponsorship on a social media platform, like, we are experts at what we do. We made over $3 million. We're probably closer to $4 million now. I've been saying $3 million for a while because that was the last time I looked at kind of the amount we'd made. But like, this year's been pretty good already. So, probably closer to that. So millions of dollars is the point. We made millions of dollars doing this. And so you don't make millions of dollars doing something if you're not good at it. So at some point you have to just like realize, like, I am good at this thing. Why am I good at this thing? Let me analyze it. Right. And so, like, that's one of the reasons why I created the course, and also because I have this perspective of both sides, being a creator for many years in the trenches doing this, but also running an influencer agency and seeing behind the curtain of how brands and agencies actually decide, hey, I want to work with that influencer, but not that influencer. Right. A lot of creators, like, it's a mystery to them. And part of what my mission is to demystify all of this stuff. Okay. So anyways, hopefully that is helpful, because I love talking about this stuff. And I think it's such a big obstacle to a lot of creators to actually get paid what they're worth, make the money they want, finally get over that hump of actually getting paid for the first time instead of just free products, figuring out how to charge actually a lot more for the work that you're doing, properly valuing the usage rights, the exclusivity, the paid media rights, the ways in which the brand is going to be utilizing the content. It's so important to actually quantify all this stuff. So anyways, let me take a swig while I check out some questions. Okay. Let's see here. Ain loves code. I walked away after a brand didn't get back to me about the rates that they asked for and wanted the idea first. So let's actually talk about this one. Maybe you can elucidate on this point, because based on what you're saying there, I don't necessarily think that would have been a reason to walk away from the brand per se. If the brand, let me read this again. I walked away after a brand didn't get back to me about the rates that they asked for and wanted the idea first. So, and FIFA says they were probably trying to steal ideas. This is an interesting concept, because I see this a lot. A lot of creators being like, oh, brands are just trying to steal stuff. Like, they're trying to take the idea and run and do it themselves and things like that. This actually happens a lot less frequently than I think most creators like theorize. They think that brands are just out to screw them. Brands are the enemy. They're trying to like get away with all this stuff. And in my experience, like, brands don't know, like, they're not that mischievous. They're not that malicious. Like, yeah, maybe some are, but the majority of brands honestly don't know what they're doing on social media. And so one of the reasons why they're reaching out to creators, is to lean into your expertise. And so them saying like, oh, what are the creative ways in which you think you could bring this to life? How much time does that actually take you to like think up an idea? Probably not very long, a couple minutes. So what do you lose by providing an idea? If it's a legitimate brand, right? If this is a brand that actually seems like, it's a large brand, maybe it's an agency, and they're asking, oh, do you have any kind of high level ideas? Because what they're doing at that point is they're not trying to steal your idea. They're trying to, if it's an agency, they're trying to go back to the brand and say, hey, we think Ayan Loves Code would be a great partner, because look at this cool idea that they have to bring this campaign to life. And then the brand gets excited. Oh yes, let's do it. Let's work with them. What's it going to cost to work with them? So it's more about you being able to differentiate yourself from all the other creators out there. So I would push back on that a little bit. And I don't necessarily think, unless you can give me some more context, I wouldn't necessarily think that that's a red flag per se. So anyways, just a thought there. Just something that I wanted to mention. Then they got back. They never. Oh, she said Then they got back, never addressed my rates that they asked for, and asked for an idea proposal. So let me again, I'm going to push back a little bit on this one too. If you are in pretty much any other line of work, if you are putting a proposal to, so let's actually talk about my influencer agency. Okay. When a brand approaches us and they say, hey, we have a, they will send us something called an RFP. This is very standard in the advertising space. An RFP stands for requests for proposal. Okay. They say our budget is $500,000. These are the numbers that we're talking about when a brand is going to be doing a large influencer activation. They are not compensating us for this proposal. Okay. We put some ideas together, potential influencers that would be a good fit for this campaign. Takes a long time to put these proposals together, right? And we submit these proposals along with other agencies who are vying for the business. And there's no guarantee of compensation for the work that we've done. Okay. This is how a lot of industries work. When you're trying to vie for work, you put the work together to put a proposal in front of the brand. Okay. And we're not guaranteed the business. We have won many deals like that, but some we have lost out on. And if we got all upset about the fact that they were asking us to kind of put our ideas forward without compensation, well, wouldn't really have an agency then, because that's just the way that this works. So what I'm saying to you is that what they're asking from you is a lot less work than that. It's just maybe a few sentences of why you have authentic affinity for the brand. Oh, I've used it for 2 years. This is the product that I love. Here's an example. I've already talked about it in a post before organically. So I guess the point is that don't be scared that they're going to steal your idea. And if they really ideas, it's all about execution in my perspective, because even if they stole that idea and tried to make content with it on their own, it probably wouldn't do very well, because brands are pretty much suck at making content. So you're the one who will bring it to life in the most authentic way. Okay. So I don't know. I would just have a little bit of a mindset shift around this piece, which is that when brands are asking you to oh, do you have an idea of how you bring this to life? It's not that big of a deal. Just do it. Right? Just thought. So Ann says, so it's okay for a brand to solicit ideas for me without first agreeing that they were on my rate. So like I said, I'm just giving you a perspective of how it works behind the scenes. Probably if it's an agency and it's not the brand, what they are doing is trying to vet creators with authentic affinity for the product. That's what they're doing by asking you for this idea. It's one thing if they're saying, hey, send us 10 pages, fully baked out storyline and all this stuff. That's not what I'm saying. Don't do that. That's not okay. But if they're saying, hey, can you share a few sentences of why you think this would be a good fit for your channel, for your brand, or for your page, for your followers, can you share any other pieces of content that would be representative of how you would bring this to life? That's totally reasonable for them to ask that. And if it comes back to them, if it comes back to you that, oh, they can't afford your rate, well, the only thing you've lost out on is a few minutes of your time. That's my perspective. Take it or leave it. But I will guarantee you that will massively increase the chances of you actually getting the deal if you take a few minutes to craft something that will excite them. Because now the creator over there who said, oh, I'll do this for $500, but gave a really weak response and was like, yeah, I love the brand. It would be great. My followers would love it. Versus you take 5 minutes and say, here's a post. Here's a post where I actually organically talked about the brand or the product already 2 years ago. Here's some amazing things. I screenshotted some comments that my followers said about it. This is how I would love to talk about your brand. This is the reason why I think it would do well. Oh yeah, it's going to be $5,000. But here's all the justifications of why that investment that you make in me is going to be worth it. So by contrast, which deal do you think they're going to give more scrutiny to? They're going to look at that person who's charging $1,000 and be like, well, I know that one's in budget, but I don't know. That idea kind of sucks and it doesn't excite us. But this idea over here with Ann Loves Code, wow, she seems like she's gung-ho about this. She's going to be a partner, not just a transaction. We could envision working with her for a long time period. So yeah, maybe this $5,000 is a little bit more than we were expecting, but she helped justify to us why we should do that. Mindset shift for you today, okay? Okay, man, I'm getting passionate today. Let's see. We got some questions in the IG chat here. We got Good Mom live tuning in. D-Mac. Kevin, join the machine. Okay, join the machine said, by the way, if you guys are not following the machine, they are awesome. They do non-exclusive brand partnership negotiation help. So if you don't have a manager and you were looking for some help managing deals one-off, basically they just take a cut. If you get this deal, they will help negotiate on your behalf, even if you don't have a manager. So definitely reach out to the machine. They're join the machine on Instagram. So definitely check them out. And they asked, what would you do if a brand wanted to hire you, but only had a certain fee and it was too low? So my favorite tactic in this scenario is squeeze deliverables out of the scope, out of the SOW or the statement of work. And so what I mean by that is that if they say, hey, we really want to work with you, but our budget, it's firm, it's $2,000. We can't go any higher than that. We really want to make this work. Can you do this? Basically, you can say, hey, I really want to make this work too. I would love to collaborate with you. This SOW, this scope, the deliverables that you're asking for, one dedicated video, one integrated video, one, TikTok, one YouTube, one Instagram post, whatever, that would be 5,000. Okay. So if you really do want to make this work at 2,000, we're going to need to take some of these other deliverables out. Maybe it's the dedicated YouTube video. That's got to go. Maybe it's the TikTok. It's got to go. So you basically take out the deliverables to make it work for their budget if you do want to make this work. The other lever that you have, not just deliverables wise, is the terms of the deal. So if maybe they wanted 6 months of paid media rights, and you can say, okay, well, if you want to make this work, we can do 30 days of rights. Or maybe they wanted 6 months of exclusivity or 90 days of exclusivity. You can say, hey, I can do 7 days exclusivity on either side of this post, before the post and after the post. And then maybe we can make this work for, one set of Instagram stories or whatever it is, whatever your rate is. So there's so many levers that you have as a creator beyond just the price, beyond just the budget that they're saying. The other thing too is that just because the brand is telling you that their budget is this, that's helpful information, but you can basically ignore that. I can't tell you how many times a brand has said, oh, our max budget is $2,000. And you say, okay, thanks for that information. Here are 5 packages. The first package that I'm going to give you is actually 2x what you told me what your budget is. But here's the reason why this makes sense. By the way, package 5 is like 10x your budget. Right? But there's this whole concept of price anchoring, right? Where you actually stretch their mindset to be like, oh, well, we can't afford that one, but package 4 is looking kind of nice. Package 3 is looking kind of nice. I've talked about this many times. One of the easiest ways to upsell yourself as a creator is to offer to do more posts than they initially asked for. So if they're saying, hey, we want to do 1 TikTok with you, what's your rate for that? Instead of just saying, oh, it's going to be $1,500. You say, oh, great to know. Yeah, package 1 can be $1,500, but package 2 is going to be 2 TikToks. Package 4 or package 3 is going to be 4 TikToks. Package 5 is going to be 15 TikToks. Because then they don't have to go out there and hire additional influencers. They don't have to deal with 4 other contracts. They can just hire you. And all of a sudden, that max budget of $2,000, that was the budget for you, not for the other influencers they're going to work with. So in their mind, they're like, oh, wow, let's actually just hire Justin because he'll make our lives easier. Okay? So, Kevin, what do you think of that answer? Join the machine. Let me know what you think. Cabrina Budwell in the TikTok chat said, Cabrina Budwell in the TikTok chat said, does your course cover pricing? Yes, the entire second week of Brand Deal Wizard is all about pricing and negotiation strategies. So there's an entire week devoted just to this because it's so critical. It's so important. I go over I do have actually a calculator that I've created that goes along with my course, but the biggest piece of it is the education that goes along with it because it really is an art and a science. to make sure that you're properly valuing not only your worth, but you're properly valuing the deal. You're properly valuing the brand, because your rates, your prices that you're charging should vary based on the deal. You should never have standard pricing that you share with the brand. Be like, oh yeah, on average, it's going to be $1,000 for an Instagram post. No, if you have that in your media kit, delete that immediately, because you'll forever be anchored to that rate. Okay. Bijou Sagna in the chat said, what was the name of that management company, Instagram at? It's Join the Machine on Instagram. So definitely reach out. Tell them I sent you. They're great. Okay. Maybelline said, hi, Justin, where can I find information on your course? I'm signing up for the newsletter. Yes, if you are just tuning in and you didn't know this, first of all, I have a free newsletter where I share paid brand sponsorship opportunities every single week. It's a free newsletter. All you need to do is go to creatorwizard.com/join. It's completely free. I just hit 4,000 creators on the newsletter, y'all. 4,000 creators. I had 0 2 years ago. Actually, when did I start the newsletter? I started it in June 2020. So that like 22 months ago, I had 0. Now I'm at 4,000. So this thing's growing like gangbusters, y'all. I'm so stoked. So Maybelline, join the newsletter. But also my course information, if you want to sign up for the wait list, it's branddealwizard.com. Let me pull it up. I think I have some maybe, let me see if I have you probably won't be able to see it on TikTok, but any of you who are tuning in on YouTube or other, here we go. I've got it here. Brand Deal Wizard, y'all. Boom, right there. I pulled up the caption there. And I will say, I would highly advise joining the waitlist. Go to branddealwizard.com to join the waitlist, because I do give preference. I can't confirm or deny that I open up the doors to enrollment to the waitlist a little bit earlier than everyone else. So if you really want to get in, enrollment will be capped at a certain limit. And so you definitely want to check that out. So yes, branddealwizard.com. Okay. Daljimara said, what kind of creator would your course benefit the most? What stage in their influencer journey? It's a great question. And so I'm very upfront about this, which is that Brand Deal Wizard is for creators who have done at least some partnerships, paid partnerships with brands already, because the course is really to take you from, N to, or the best way to describe it is like, go from charging $1,000 opposed to like 10,000. How can you actually really take this thing to the next level for the same amount of work? How can you really ratchet up those budgets, ratchet up those rates, and make a lot more money? Okay. Because my experience has been, is that creators who have, started making some money, they're making a couple $1,000 a month from brand partnerships. They know they're probably leaving some money on the table, but they just don't know exactly how to not do that. And so that's what the course is all about. I go through pitching strategies, right? That's week 1, is all about pitching, how to actually find who is the exact contact at this brand to reach out to. How do I actually figure out their contact information? What do I say? Okay. Week 2 is all about pricing and advanced negotiation strategies, pricing psychology. There's so many different ways in which people price, right? Whether it's competitive pricing, like, oh, I'm just going to like match the pricing that my friend over here is charging because they have around the same followers. I'm just going to like charge what they're charging. Like, terrible idea. Don't do that. Right. That's just an example of like one type of pricing ideology. Right. And so week 3 is all about execution. Not enough people talk about this, which is that actually creating the content during the production phase with a brand, that is the phase that will largely determine whether they want to hire you again or not in the future. And so it's all about execution during that week. And week 4 is all about nurturing the brand. So how do you actually convince brands to forge longer term partnerships with you, so you're not trying to hustle for every new deal, right? Which can just feel so frustrating. And so that's what week 4 is all about. So again, this is a live course. I teach it live over Zoom. It's a cohort-based course. So that means you have a bunch of other amazing creators going through it with you. There's a private community where people are sharing screenshots of negotiations that they're working on, getting help from people. They're sharing their pitches. Hey, what do you guys think of this pitch? How should I change this differently? So it really is a very vibrant community. And this will be my 6th time running the cohort. And so I'm very excited because we're adding like just amazing things, like for each new cohort. And so I'm expecting this next one, cohort number 6, to be the largest and the most awesome. And so definitely give it a shot if that's something that you're interested in. And so the other thing too that I would mention is that my next course, which I'm very excited that I'm working on right now, will be geared towards more kind of beginner and aspirational creators. So if you don't have a platform yet, or you're just starting out and you're trying to get your feet under you, you're getting a lot of free product offers, but you're trying to figure out how to convert those into paid partnerships. It's called Gifted to Paid. So if that sounds like more kind of where you're at in your creator journey, then that one is probably going to be released in the July, August timeframe is what I'm thinking. And that one will be fully on demand. That'll be a course that you can just binge at your own leisure. And so just a little bit of a different format. And so just wanted to mention that if you want to find out more information about that one, you can go to giftedtopaid.com. So, okay, let me know if that helped. Okay, let's dive into some questions. Got some questions in the YouTube chat. Let me give the YouTube chat some love. 30 Days Reviews, Janet Perkins, Relia, thanks for tuning in. Okay, questions. I have never, 30 Days Review says, I have never had a good experience with a third-party agency. That is, at least when it came to a company's advert or social companies, always been better for me to work directly with the companies. Interesting. I think you had another question down here. Actually, I think maybe Jessica. Oh, Jessica Moylan had I think was responding. Hey, Justin, I'm a small creator, just over 1,000 subscribers. I struggle negotiating with brands because my following size is so small. It's the same amount of work they want from me, but for free products. I tend to get the same responses all the time. Sorry, we have no budget, and creators usually accept free product. I've turned so many down, but then feel maybe I have to start with free products. I gotcha. Okay, so this is exactly what I talk about in my course, Gifted to Paid. I actually did a workshop, a beta workshop of Gifted to Paid back in December, and this is exactly the reason why I'm doing this course, is because there's a very important mindset shift that you need to have around this particular subject. Because when brands reach out offering free product, oftentimes there's variations of, we're not going to pay you, right? It's like, okay, hey, join our affiliate program. Hey, join our ambassador program. Hey, this product is expensive, so that should be, adequate compensation. Or, we want to do a trial first, so do it for free first, and then maybe if it goes well, we'll pay you down the line, right? So there's all these like variations of, we're not going to pay you, but like creators, all they hear is like, well, you're not valuing what I'm, you're not valuing what I'm worth. You're just only wanting to do this for free product, right? And so they just basically close the door. They say, hey, I'm only prioritizing paid partnerships right now. Let me know if you have a budget down the line. And then boom, they slam the door right in the brand's face. And that is the worst possible thing to do, because this is your opportunity to educate them around why they should pay you. The job is yours. You are the one who have to articulate why they should pay you. It's not their job. A lot of creators be like, well, how dare they? They should, like, how dare they ask me to do these things for free? If you were the brand, put yourself in their shoes for a second here, okay? And every creator they've ever worked with is saying, sure, give me the free product, I'll talk about it. Then why would they offer you money as the first thing that they do? Of course, they're going to offer to you for free. So the onus is on you. Take back the control. You're not a victim. You are in control now to help educate them around why they should pay you. How about you say this to them? I'm curious. Your other influencer partners that you're working with, are they offering you paid media rights to be able to repurpose this content so that you can run paid advertising with it? I specialize in those types of collaborations where there is a flat fee investment. Let me know if I can send over what those investment options would look like. Do you see what I just did there? I made a very slight pivot. I challenged them and I said, hey, yeah, I understand that, all these other people work for free. Are they giving you rights to do these other things, to repurpose it, to get additional mileage out of the content? Are those other partners that you're working with doing that? Probably not. You can actually go and do research. Look at their pages. Are they repurposing influencer content? If they're not, What the heck? Like, does that look like a robust influencer strategy to them? No, right? So the onus is on you to challenge them so that when you say it's going to be $1,000 to work with me, it's instantly obvious to them why they have to do that. Okay? Dalji Mara said extremely helpful. Thank you. Yes. No, I'm so glad. And Janet said, Perky Perkins in the Instagram chat said, sadly, there's a lot of brands targeting small creators for products exchange, and smaller creators tend to just take everything, which isn't good for the creator community. And you know what, Janet? What my answer to that is that you have no control over those other creators. You're right. It sucks. It's not great for the creator community, but the only person that you have control over is yourself. I am trying to do my part to educate people around this, but the only person you have control over is yourself. And so that's why I like this idea of like taking back the control. Being a victim solves nothing. Being a victim is just going to, reinforce this insidious mindset in yourself that there's nothing you can do about this. Brands are always going to prey on creators, and that's just the way it is. And I call BS to that. It's time for you to shoot your shot. It's time for you to articulate why they should pay you. Articulate to them all of the amazing things that you're going to do for them. Oh, hey, I looked at your Instagram and I noticed that you're only posting once every 2 weeks. The content kind of sucks. Don't say that to them, but right? I notice you don't have a YouTube presence. I notice you don't have a TikTok presence. I can be that person for you. I will create 5 to 10 to 15 photos, reels, videos, TikToks for you every single month. It's going to be $2,500 a month. That's my value proposition to you. So in their mind, oh, okay, I get it. She's not going to just do that for free products. You see how much of a different pitch that is? The pitch is not, oh, I'm going to talk about you on my YouTube. I'm going to talk about you on my TikTok. That's not the pitch. Asha Nakira said, this is gold. Glad to hear that. Glad it's helpful. 30 Days Reviews is asking in the YouTube chat, what's the course cost? Are there reruns of the course if one misses the live? Yes. So thank you for asking. So the investment for the course is $2,000. There is going to be a payment plan, and so if that's something that in terms of the investment, that's something that would be helpful. There is like a kind of a multi-month payment option, but the investment is going to be $2,000. Gifted to paid will be less of an investment. I haven't really nailed down exactly what the investment's going to be. But hopefully that's helpful. When the enrollment opens, enrollment is going to open around June 10th, I believe. The first class is going to be, I can look at my calendar. I think it's June 21st. To answer your question, yes, everything is recorded. You can watch the replays. The other advantage of the other cool thing about enrolling in Brand Deal Wizard is that there is multiple past cohorts that you can go back and watch. So I was actually super surprised that last cohort, probably maybe like 20 or 30% of people who enrolled went back and binged the prior cohorts of the course before the new cohort had even started. So that was something that's really cool. So it is really advantageous to be able to go back and refer to some of those previous sessions. So yes, hopefully that's helpful. Good Mom Left said, Justin is fired up, isn't he? I don't know what it is today. I am like super fired up today. I'm getting passionate. Mrs. Rightsway said, it's the passion for me. Yeah. Janet said, I started watching older ones recently too. Yeah. That's the other advantage is like having ongoing access to the private community. You can watch, see all the great discussions going on. It's still a very vibrant community, even though the last cohort was several months ago. So I love that. I love that aspect about it. And yeah, I don't know why I'm just fired up today. Maybe it's the vest, guys. I don't know. I haven't worn a vest in a while. I was just like, boom, let me put this thing on. It was like absolutely pouring today where I was. So had to throw this on. But yeah, I appreciate that you guys noticed the passion because I absolutely love talking about sponsorships. I love talking about brand deals. This is absolutely my zone of genius. I can say that without hesitation. I can talk about this from now until the day I die. I love talking about it. And I'm glad that passion comes through because I really do love doing it. So yeah, let me know if you have any other questions about brand deals, negotiating with confidence, sponsorships, please let me know. Yeah, DMAX said you're well rested from vacation. I'm not going to lie. It's been hard transitioning back to normal life. So I'm adjusting, but maybe that's where all the vibrancy is coming from, is being well rested. And yeah, and the other thing too, y'all, oh my goodness, I would be remiss if I didn't mention this. I am stoked out of my mind because I have 2 upcoming speaking gigs. And the first one is going to be at CEX. The CEX is the Creator Economy Expo. This is happening from May 2nd to 4th. And I have a ticket giveaway going on right now. I'm giving away 3 free tickets. It's normally $1,000 to attend the conference. It's in Phoenix, Arizona. So let me just see if I can quickly find I think it's CEX. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to drop this in the chat. If you are not, if you're like tuning in on Instagram or our TikTok, I apologize. But I want you to, if you're not on my email list, that's where I shared the giveaway. But go to, if you're in the like YouTube or wherever, go enter the giveaway. I'm giving away 3 free tickets. I would love to see you there because I'm speaking. There's going to be a bunch of other amazing creators, Jay Klaus, Roberto Blake, so many people there. There's going to be amazing speakers, and I'm stoked. My talk is going to be all about, it's called How to Craft a Pitch No Brand Will Ignore. It's going to be a brand new presentation I've never done. And to explain to you how seriously I'm taking this speech, I hired a speech coach. I didn't even know that existed. I hired, for those of you who know James Clear, of Atomic Habits fame, the New York Times bestselling author. This is James Clear's speech coach. He is the coach for Amy Porterfield, for a bunch of really prominent people, and I hired him, y'all. Oh, boom! I'm so excited. I hired him. I already had my first session with him, and I did not realize the amount of intention, the amount of reflection and analysis that goes into creating an amazing speech. And so I am just like stoked out of my mind because I want to go. I think that I am a good speaker, but I want to become a great speaker. I love public speaking. I want to do more of it. I love doing these types of things, but I want to like speak at conferences. I want to do this thing. I want to write a book. I have a lot of like really ambitious goals for myself over the next, several years of my life. And I have these like really big milestones of how I want to help y'all. I want to help, creators big and small land 1 million sponsorships by 2032. I don't know how the hell I'm going to make that happen, but I'm going to make it happen. And you all are going to help me make this happen because you're going to be part of this. We're all going to be cheering each other on. And so I have all of these goals, all these dreams, and a big part of making all these things happen means that I have to be a powerful communicator. I have to be an effective communicator. Right? And so that's why I hired a speech coach. And so I'm so excited about this. So I'm going to be speaking at that conference. I'm going to be speaking at VidFest, which is Podfest, VidFest. There's an Amazon track to that this year. So I'm going to be talking all about how you can work with brands on Amazon or doing like live commerce in general. So super stoked. And yeah, DMAX says that's why politicians have speechwriters and coaches. Yeah, exactly. Good Mom Live said, I'm going to apply these tips as I start to get into user generated content. Totally applies. You know what? I should do a live stream one day all around UGC, because this is something that I'm seeing a lot more people get excited about and talking about. So yeah, that's a really it's a really good point. I should definitely think about that. That's a good one. That's a really good topic for a live stream. Anyways, thank y'all so much for tuning in. This was a blast. Actually, wait, did I miss something? Oh yeah, Jessica said thank you for your honest answer, Justin. You're so right. Yes, I'm so happy to help. And we got one more question. I want to answer one more question. Sabrina Latoya in the YouTube chat said, what is a normal time frame for brands to review content? I've been waiting now for approval for a while now, and I've met every deadline expected of me. So Sabrina, the cold truth of it, the cold reality of this is that there is no normal time frame. It depends on every brand and every agency. Sometimes things will get caught up in legal review. If you're working with a product that's regulated, like a pharmaceutical company, or something that, has, FDA clearance or something like that, it has to be, the claims have to be vetted. You've probably seen creative briefs where there was like a do's and don't section, like absolutely don't say this, right? So all of that type of stuff has to be cleared by the right departments, the brand manager, the director, the agency, the legal team, yada, yada, you name it. And so the best advice I have about this, and I know it's kind of a non-answer, is that it's really critical to try to set expectations with the brand or the agency at the outset around what their normal time frame is. So you can actually ask them. This is actually can become a very big issue because, like, for example, we had a situation one time. When I say that we have like made every mistake in the book, I'm really being serious. We had made the mistake one time of like, we filmed a brand partnership around the holidays. And so in our house, we had a bunch of holiday decor in the background of the spot. And the spot did not get approved until after the holidays. It was like January when it finally got approved. And so now we're like trying to make edits to the content, like cut out where we had like tinsel or like a tree in the background. What a nightmare. Right. But like it can have serious repercussions. So if they tell you at the outset before you ever shoot it, this is actually something that I talk about in week 3 of my course, by the way, little plug, right? You need to be asking them, hey, how long does it take to actually, the normal approval timeframe? Oh, they say, oh, I'm so glad you asked that. Normally it can take actually our legal team 3 weeks to get back to you. So then you'll be like, okay, even though it's the holidays, I'm going to like clear off this space of my house, like remove all the holiday stuff out of here so that I can shoot the content in front of it. So that it can be relatively evergreen so that whenever this thing does get approved, I can post it and it won't look weird in my timeline. Right? So anyways, great question. Great question. Anyways, thank you all so much for tuning in. Appreciate each and every one of you tuning in. The TikTok chat, the IG chat, all the other places, YouTube, Facebook, everyone, where everyone else was tuning in. I'm always so appreciative of y'all. Hope you have a fantastic weekend, and I will see you back at it next Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern.